hesitating to pull the trigger on it. Any of the Commonwealth scum can't be fair.
If you're looking for ammunition or weapon mods, Dr. Tegan might have what you need.
I can't talk right now. I have a lot on my mind.
Elder Maxim, I have a set of plans to build a signal interceptor to get me inside the Institute.
An intriguing proposal that I'll have to seriously consider. However, before I allow any of my soldiers to reach the Institute, careful preparations need to be made. In the meantime, I need you to follow my orders and remain patient.
But what about what you said during your speech? This could be a way to strike at the heart of the Institute.
I meant every word that I just said. But I need you to view this from my perspective. I'm not willing to risk the lives of my soldiers, based solely on a set of crudely drawn plans. Give us time to validate the information we've discovered. Then when the time is right, I promise you, I'll do everything in my power to construct that device. You're dismissed now. Now that you've familiarized yourself with the Prydwen's crew, are you ready for your next assignment, sister?
What sort of assignment are we talking about?
The kind of assignment where all of the training you've done finally begins to pay off. Let's get right to it then, shall we? Take a look over there. That's Fort Strong. And it's infested with super mutants. Having those aberrations of nature close enough to smell is making me sick to my stomach. To make matters worse, they're sitting on top of a massive stockpile of Fat Man shells we could use in our campaign. I want you to head over there, wipe out everything that moves, and secure that stockpile. Understood?
What do these shells do?
The Fat Man launcher is an essential part of the Brotherhood arsenal. It's a miniature nuclear payload, in a man-portable format. A squad of troops armed with one of these is virtually unstoppable. If you ever have the pleasure of firing one of them, allow me to give you a word of advice. Don't fire one of them in close quarters. There won't be enough of you to bury in a shoebox. That enough to go on?
Consider it done.
Look, I realize you're eager to take the fight to the Institute, but it'll have to wait. The Brotherhood cannot allow those abominations to have a nuclear arsenal at their fingertips.
It'll be a pleasure to exterminate that mutant filth.
Now, we have a vertibird on standby, fully armed and ready to depart. Use it to carry our message to Fort Strong, and wipe those dirty mutants from the face of the earth. Dismissed.
If you have a moment, there's something I'd like to discuss with you.
Of course. What's on your mind?
Thank you. This isn't a formal meeting. I simply want to clear the air. I think we may have gotten off on the wrong foot when we first met, and I feel like I owe you an apology. Expecting you to embrace the standards of the Brotherhood without having a history with us was unfair. And given that you've adjusted so well to our beliefs, I don't think I needed to push so hard.
That's very kind. Thank you.
Well, you deserve it. When I was an initiate, my sponsor was Paladin Krieg, toughest squad leader I ever served with. He was a model soldier, embodying the values every trainee was striving to achieve. Fiercely loyal, secure in his beliefs, and brave to a fault. From the moment I was assigned to his squad, I was singled out. It felt like he was pushing me harder than the rest of the team. I fought by his side for years, and we had some seriously close calls. But he never explained to me why I was treated that way.
I'm sure he had his reasons.
If he had, I never discovered them. After I was promoted to Paladin, and I'd moved on to my own squad, I received word that Krieg was killed at Adams Air Force Base. The news was like being kicked in the stomach. I mean, I'd lost some of my brothers and sisters before, but his death, well, it really got to me. It's taken me a long time to realize it. But the reason Krieg was so tough on me is the same reason I'm so tough on you. It's because I believe in you. And I don't want to see any of your potential go to waste.
What happened at Adams Air Force Base?
Back in the capital wasteland, the Brotherhood was at war with a traitorous group of rebels who called themselves the Enclave. They maintained a mobile command post at the remains of Adams Air Force Base, just outside of Washington, D.C. The Brotherhood spearheaded an assault on the command post, which was ultimately successful, but costly. Quite a few soldiers died in that battle, and Paladin Krieg was among them. He made his mark on history. And whether you choose to believe it or not, you have the potential to do the same.
Well, it took you long enough to notice.
What can I say? Maybe I'm becoming more like Krieg than I realized. Well, I've said what I had to say, and I hope that it meant something to you. I trust you'll keep this in confidence, of course. Some of that information was of a personal nature. Well, I'd like to keep it that way.
Get on that gunship, soldier. I want Fort Strong cleared and that stockpile secured.
Would it be possible to speak off the record for a moment?
Hey.
All right.
Hey.
Need something? There's still that off-the-record matter I'd like to discuss. Do you have time now?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Thank you. This is difficult for me to say, so I hope you'll bear with me as I try to get through it. When you were first placed under my sponsorship, I had some serious reservations about it. Despite all that, this has turned out to be a rewarding experience. For both of us. At this point, honestly, I don't feel like there's anything else I could teach you about being a Brotherhood soldier you don't already know. It's apparent from your attitude and your actions that you intend to keep those ideals close to your heart.
I know there's more you want to say. Go on.
Yes, I'm getting to that. I'm just not very good at these things. Let me start at the beginning. I grew up alone in the capital wasteland. Spent most of my childhood picking through the ruins and selling scrap. When I was a bit older and had a few caps to my name, I moved into Rivet City and opened a junk stand. While I was there, I met a guy named Cutler. We got along pretty well. Watched each other's backs and kept each other out of trouble. When the Brotherhood came through on a recruiting run, we felt like it was a way out of our nowhere lives. So we joined up.
Rivet City. Must be post-war, because I've never heard of it.
You're right. It was a settlement, built inside the remains of a beached aircraft carrier. One of the safest places to live in the capital wasteland, until the Brotherhood arrived. It was the perfect location for me to try my hand at being a merchant.
I'm glad you had greater ambitions than just selling junk.
Once I saw what the Brotherhood had to offer, there was no comparison. Anyway, about a year after we were posted to the Prydwen, Cutler vanished on a scouting op. It took some convincing, but I was able to persuade my CO to let me assemble a squad and search for him. It took almost 3 weeks, but we tracked his team down to a super mutant hive. Those wretched abominations had slaughtered everyone but Cutler. He should have been so lucky. The mutant bastards used their FEV to change him into one of their own kind. He wasn't Cutler anymore. I had to... It was my duty to put him down.
You did what the Brotherhood taught you.
Then you understand why it had to be done. Ever since Cutler died, I've seen other soldiers come and go. Some were brave, some were honest. Hell, some were even downright heroic. But I'd never consider any of them to be a good friend. A friend like Cutler was. Until now. It's a good feeling, but it frightens me all the same. Having a bond with someone, then losing them. It changes you. I don't want to go through that again.
Well, there goes my dream of being reborn as a super mutant.
Glad to have changed your mind. I just thought you deserved to know how I felt. If you feel that I've overstepped my bounds, I completely understand. Whatever the case may be, I appreciate the fact that you took the time to listen. I know this may sound like a strange question, but tell me, what do you think about scribing?
Hey, over here. Heads up.
Where do you want
Move
me?
here.
Roger that.
Heads up.
If you have the time to talk now, I'd still like to know what you think about Scribe Halen.
Scribe Halen? Why? Is something wrong with her?
No, not at all. Halen's doing well. I simply wanted to talk to you about her, but I wanted to know what you thought of her first.
I don't think I know her well enough to give you a military evaluation.
That's a shame. Perhaps you should spend more time working with her then. She's a model soldier. But I wasn't looking for an evaluation of her performance as a scribe. I wanted to know what you thought of Halen as a person.
This isn't like you, Dance. Are you gonna tell me what this is all about?
I suppose I'm beating around the bush because I don't normally find these discussions easy to handle. I'll try and get right to the point. The truth is, I'm worried about her. Since you and I are getting along so well, I felt like I could confide in you about it, to get your honest opinion.
I appreciate that you value my opinion so highly. Tell me what's on your mind.
Let me explain everything from the beginning. A few months before you found us, one of my men was shot multiple times by raiders. Halen stayed by that knight's side for 2 days straight, without sleep, fighting to keep him alive. But he was on a slow decline. I decided that his suffering needed to end, and ordered Halen to administer an overdose of painkillers, so he could die with dignity. Even though I'm certain she wanted to continue fighting for that knight's life. She injected him without question.
Are you asking me whether or not I approve?
Of course not. I stand by every order I've ever given. That soldier was gravely wounded. Even if, by some miracle, he happened to survive, he would have been paralyzed for life. But the decision whether or not to ease that soldier's suffering isn't the point here. The point is what happened later that same evening. Halen approached me while I was on watch. She didn't say a word, but I could tell something was wrong. After what felt like an eternity, she collapsed into my arms, crying. I didn't know what to do, so I just held her for a while. A few minutes later, she stopped, kissed me on the cheek, and simply said, "Thank you," before heading back into the police station. Right then it hit me. Maybe I pushed her too hard. I ordered her to ignore her instincts, to do something her medical training told her was wrong. That's why I'm worried about her. And for that matter, everyone under my command.
Don't use Halen as an excuse. This is about you.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Look, 4 soldiers. Over half of my team are gone. Each one of them died because of decisions that I made. I understand the risks that come with the job. We all do. But how can anyone have confidence in me anymore? Hell, how can I have confidence in myself?
There are no guarantees in life, Dance. We just do the best we can and press on.
That's sound advice, soldier. Well, looks like things have taken a turn. I signed up to be your sponsor, so I teach you everything that I know. But it looks like I'm the one that needed the lesson today. All joking aside, I'm pleased that we had this discussion. And with all the problems you're facing, you still took the time to listen. It's comforting to know that I can speak to you as more than just your commanding officer.
I'm glad that it's made you feel better, Dance.
More than you realize. Anyway, thanks for letting me get that off my shoulders. I think it's been weighing on me more than I realized. I'm only sorry you had to see me at my worst, instead of at my best.
If you're looking for a way...
The Pridwin is a magnificent ship. And we're lucky.
Time to suit up.
Treat your power armor well. Get you through
Proctor Tegan,
What brings you to me today?
let me see what you have.
Be my guest.
A duty ship is long.
Unless you like getting shot, never turn your back on a gunner.
Don't worry. We'll keep the Pridwin running at peak efficiency.
Having the Pridwin moored above the airport keeps the Brotherhood within striking distance of the city.
What are you building?
Aren't you? Welcome aboard, Knight. Instruments are green, and we're cleared for release. Try and keep him in your sights. Primary target down. Look at that thing bleed. I'm gonna find a place to set her down and then hightail it back to the prison for repair.
Being in the open like this is tactically irresponsible. This area seems to be in... Quite a bit of trash to pick through here. Searching through it could prove beneficial.
What's that?
Go down.
Out there.
Good work.
Somewhere.
Don't leave anything behind.
Around my neck.
Remain vigilant. This place may appear abandoned, but that doesn't mean we should drop our guard.
Good fight, human. You can't hide forever.
I don't think we're alone. Brotherhood.
Word came down that the Army just unloaded the first batch of M42s this morning. I've only seen the specs for these little kids on paper, so Private Bertram and I snuck down to take an early look. When I heard that the eggheads were designing a man-portable nuke launcher, I thought they were nuts. But they actually got the damn thing to work. And after seeing the real thing sitting right in front of me, I think they could be just enough to tip the balance of this war in our favor. I mean, can you imagine the look on the enemy's face when we get dropped into Anchorage carrying these babies? They won't know what hit them.
Watch your step. There's quite a few.
That's it. Perfect.
This area's obviously been abandoned for quite some... All right. Hopefully there's something useful here. Just a bunch of junk. What a waste of time. Seems to be in disarray. I wonder if this is recent.
What's that?
This equipment's here for a reason.
Stupid noise.
Much left properly identified. Anything useful? Can you imagine these weapons in the hands of those super mutants? Developing this level of technology is a lost art that the Brotherhood's hoping to revive. Keep your safety up. Whoever or whatever created these masks might still be around.
Paladin dance.
Look at this place. You must hate these mutants as much as I do.
Absolutely. Wiping them out was a pleasure.
I wish all of mankind shared your sentiment. These monstrosities are just another example of man blindly taking a step forward, only to wind up stumbling 2 steps back. I've been fighting for years, trying to put a stop to this madness. And just when I thought we were getting the upper hand, along come the synths. I've seen what these super mutants do to people. Can you imagine what the synths would do to us if they ever got the upper hand? It would be Armageddon repeated, and maybe the end of everything that we hold dear. Look, I don't mean to bore you with my rhetoric. I just want you to understand how important these missions are.
Don't apologize. It reminds me why I'm doing this.
Thank you, sister. It's good to know you're taking my advice to heart. Anyway, that's enough of that. What's important here is that you got the job done and secured these warheads. You should head back up to the Prydwen and talk to Maxon. I'm sure he'll want to debrief you as soon as possible. Dismissed.
Going into the instant.
Outstanding work at Fort Strong, soldier.
So, what happens at Fort Strong now?
Paladin Dance is supervising the transfer of the Fat Man warheads to the Prydwen. They'll provide quite an edge to our arsenal. I've also ordered a detachment to occupy the location, and use it as a staging area to protect the eastern side of the airport. All in all, you handed us quite a valuable location.
Too bad it wasn't the Institute.
Not to worry, Knight. You'll be dealing with them sooner than you think. In order to bring the Institute to its knees, we need to use every weapon at our disposal. I try to supply my soldiers with the best. That's why I'm giving you these. Signal grenades can call a vertibird to your location when you need aerial transport. Simply throw one to the ground, and the vertibird will hone in on the unique electromagnetic smoke it emits. Once you're aboard, use the map on your Pip-Boy to interface with the pilot's navigation system, so he'll be able to take you wherever you need.
Where can I get more signal grenades?
I'd use the supply I gave you sparingly. These devices are far more complex than a standard smoke grenade. Should you need more, you should acquire them from Proctor Tegan.
Will the vertibird stay and help me fight?
I'm afraid I can't spare a fully armed gunship for this task. A standard transport will have to suffice. Of course, nothing stopping you from using the door gun while in flight.
Thank you, Elder. I'll make good use of them.
I expect that you will. Now, I'm sure you're aware that Fort Strong was simply the first step towards the liberation of the Commonwealth. An even greater task lies ahead. By now, I'm sure you've deduced that our arrival in the Commonwealth wasn't coincidental. We're here because of a unique energy reading recorded by Paladin Dance's recon team. According to our scribes, the reading indicated a level of technology that only the Institute could achieve. The moment this information came to light, our mission became clear. The Institute, and everyone responsible for the creation of the synths, must be eliminated at all costs. To accomplish this goal, we need to locate the Institute's headquarters. I've had our scribes meticulously searching the Commonwealth, but they've come up empty-handed. The only logical explanation is that they've gone underground. That's where we need your help.
I want to be left alone.
Shit. That is some armor.
I'm sure many of you have heard tales of the whaling.
24-hour service! Look, we sell everything. Stim packs.
Let's see what you have.
Here you are.
Nothing stays hidden forever. At least, not if I have my say. That's a lot of metal.
Is armed with a can opener. I'd say we're good to go.
Piper.
Heading my way?
Sure, let's go.
Will do.
Buy me some jet. Then I can use the site to help you.